What if I told you that your millions have already arrived? That the financial transformation you've been waiting for, the wealth you've been imagining, has already manifested at the level of consciousness, and the only thing left is for it to appear in your bank account? I know how that sounds. I know the logical part of your mind is pointing to all the evidence that nothing has changed, that your account balance is still the same, that the bills are still piling up, that the physical world shows no signs of the abundance you've been visualizing. But what if I could prove to you that consciousness shifts before reality shifts? And what if I could show you the unmistakable signs that your millions have already been created in the realm of cause, even if your bank statement hasn't caught up yet? Let me start with something that happened to me 18 months ago. Something that changed everything I thought I knew about money, manifestation, and the invisible shifts that occur before physical wealth appears. I had been doing visualization every night for 2 months, imagining a scene that implied I was already wealthy, checking a bank account with 7 figures, feeling the freedom of financial abundance, living as someone who had already made it. But nothing in the 3D had changed. The bills kept coming. The account stayed the same. The money was still tight. You know that feeling, don't you? That frustrating disconnect between what you're assuming and what you're seeing. The way you start to doubt whether your imagination is doing anything at all. The creeping fear that maybe the law doesn't work for you. Maybe your financial situation is different. Maybe poverty is just your destiny. I was on the verge of giving up when I discovered something that rewired my entire understanding. The outer world is always the last to change. It is the shadow, not the substance. When you shift in consciousness, the shift is already complete. What you see in the physical world is simply the past still being printed out. The new story is already written. You are simply waiting for the old pages to run out. This discovery led me down a path that changed my life because I realized I had been looking for evidence in the wrong place. I was staring at my bank account, waiting for it to change, when the change had already happened in consciousness. I was watching the shadow, expecting it to move first, when the object casting the shadow had already shifted. The truth is this: consciousness shifts before reality shifts. The physical world always follows, and there are specific signs that tell you your millions have already been created, even when your bank account looks exactly the same. But before I share with you the 7 signs that your wealth has already manifested, signs that might explain things that have been happening in your own experience, I need to tell you what I've learned about the nature of consciousness, time, and the relationship between the inner and outer worlds when it comes to money. The foundation of the shift. A woman once came to me, frustrated because she had been imagining financial freedom for months, but she was still living paycheck to paycheck. She still couldn't afford the things she wanted. She still showed no signs of the wealth she had been visualizing. She wanted to know if her imagination was actually working, or if she was just fooling herself. Here's what I explained to her. Something that gave me chills when I first understood it. Consciousness and the physical world operate on different timelines. When you imagine something with feeling and accept it as real, the shift in consciousness is instantaneous. It happens the moment you accept the new state. But the physical world is like a massive ship. It takes time to turn. The new course has been set, but the ship hasn't completed the turn yet. And here's the part that changes everything. By the time you see the money in your bank account, the shift happened long ago. The physical manifestation is never the moment of creation, it's the moment of recognition. It's not when the change occurs. It's when you finally see what already changed. Your millions shifted into existence the moment your imagination impressed that state deeply enough on consciousness. Everything since then has just been the physical world catching up to what already happened in the realm of mind. This isn't just beautiful philosophy. This is how the universe actually works. And if you know what signs to look for, you can recognize that your wealth has already been created, even when your bank account is still showing you the old story. Sakran, the mystery deepens. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. The shift in consciousness always produces signs, ripples that extend from the unseen into the seen. These aren't the full manifestation. They're not millions suddenly appearing in your account. They're subtler than that. They're the evidence that consciousness has moved, that the inner world has rearranged, that your financial reality is no longer the same as it was before your imagination created it. But here's the challenge. Most of us have been taught to only accept physical proof as evidence. We want the deposit notification. We want the check in the mail. We want the massive business deal. We've been conditioned to dismiss the subtle signs, to explain them away as coincidence, to keep waiting for the obvious 3D confirmation. This is the blindness of the senses. By ignoring the signs of the shift, you're not just missing encouragement. You're actively contradicting the new assumption. Think about it this way. What if your millions have already been created at the level of consciousness? What if the shift has already occurred? What if the signs are everywhere, but you're so focused on the absence of the full manifestation that you're telling consciousness, I don't believe it's working? If you've ever noticed something subtle that made you think your financial situation might be shifting, if you've ever caught a sign that disappeared before you could be sure, pay close attention, because what I'm about to share might just confirm what you already sensed was happening. Sign 1. The inexplicable peace. Let me share the first sign that your millions have already manifested. And I want you to really pay attention, because this might be exactly what you've been experiencing. One of the most reliable signs that a wealth shift has occurred is a sudden, inexplicable sense of peace about your financial situation. A peace that wasn't there before, that didn't come from any external change, that simply appeared as if a switch had been flipped inside you. This is not the peace that comes from giving up. This is not the peace of resignation. This is different. This is a deep, quiet knowing that everything is working out. A release of the desperate grip on money. A sense that the abundance is somehow already secured, even though nothing in the physical world has changed. This peace is not random. It is your consciousness registering that the shift has occurred. When you finally impress your assumption of wealth deeply enough on consciousness, something relaxes inside you. The anxiety about money releases. The obsessive checking of your bank account stops. You move from hoping to knowing, from wanting to having, from desperation to certainty. I remember the moment this happened in my own manifestation. After weeks of financial anxiety, of checking my accounts constantly, of calculating and recalculating whether I could afford things, suddenly, one morning, I woke up and the desperation was gone. Nothing had happened externally. No money had arrived, but something inside me had shifted. I felt like the wealth was already mine. I felt like I was just waiting for the delivery of something I'd already purchased. This peace is the Sabbath, the state of rest that follows the completed work of creation. When you feel this peace, it's because the shift has already happened. Your consciousness knows, even if your physical senses can't perceive it yet. The deal is done. The contract is signed. Now you're just waiting for the paperwork to be processed. Sign 2. The sudden disinterest in the old story. The second sign is a sudden loss of interest in the old story. The struggle, the lack, the reasons why you've been broke, the analysis of what went wrong with your finances. When you've truly shifted in consciousness, the old story simply loses its grip on you. It stops being interesting. It stops being relevant. It becomes like a movie you've already seen too many times. As long as you're still fascinated by the old story, you're still living in it. As long as you're still rehashing your financial struggles, still analyzing why money has been hard for you, still explaining to friends why you're broke, you're pouring energy into the old assumption. But when the shift occurs, the old story naturally releases its hold. People who've experienced this report a sudden disinterest in discussing their financial situation. They stopped wanting to vent about money problems. They stopped finding meaning in the struggle narrative. They stopped caring about explaining their financial past. They just moved on internally, even before anything moved externally. Let me tell you about someone whose story demonstrates this perfectly. He had been struggling financially for years, and for months he obsessed over why. He analyzed every bad decision. He replayed every failed business venture. He built elaborate narratives about why wealth seemed to avoid him. Then he began imagining being wealthy, living as though he already had millions. For weeks, nothing changed externally. But one morning he realized he hadn't thought about his financial struggles in days. He didn't care anymore about the past. He didn't care about understanding why money had been hard. The story that had consumed him had simply become boring. That is the sign that consciousness has left the old story behind. When you are no longer a resident of that state, when you have moved to the new state, the old one loses its power over you, and your financial reality will follow because it can only reflect who you are now. 3 months later, an unexpected opportunity appeared that changed everything. He couldn't understand why it came out of nowhere. But it wasn't out of nowhere. The shift had already occurred. The opportunity was simply the physical world catching up. Sign 3. The echo effect. The third sign is one that almost always appears when a wealth shift has occurred. You start hearing about money, abundance, and opportunity from unexpected sources in ways that match your new assumption. I call this the echo effect, consciousness reflecting back your new story through various channels. This isn't about money arriving directly. This is about the universe beginning to mirror your assumption in indirect ways. A friend mentions an opportunity out of nowhere. You overhear a conversation about someone who just came into money in a way similar to what you've been imagining. You see something online that hints at the exact type of abundance you've been visualizing. You receive information through unexpected channels that confirms movement is happening. When your assumption has taken root in consciousness, reality begins to echo it back before the full manifestation appears. These echoes are not coincidences. They are the first ripples of the shift reaching the physical world. They are consciousness confirming that the change has occurred and is now making its way toward full physical expression. I'll never forget when this happened in my own experience. After weeks of imagining having millions, a colleague who had never discussed finances with me suddenly brought up an investment opportunity. Another friend randomly sent me an article about someone who had manifested exactly the kind of wealth I was imagining. A podcast I randomly clicked on discussed the exact amount of money I had been visualizing. I hadn't told anyone what I was doing, but consciousness was echoing my assumption back to me, showing me that the shift was real. These echoes are not the manifestation itself. They're the evidence that the manifestation is on its way. When you start noticing them, when unexpected channels begin reflecting your new wealth story back to you, trust that the shift has occurred. Your millions are already created. The world is just starting to show you. Sign 4. The strange moments of knowing. Perhaps one of the most fascinating signs involves what I call flashes of knowing, sudden, brief moments where you know the manifestation is done, where you feel your wealth as if it were already physically present, where the reality of your assumption breaks through into your conscious awareness. These moments come without warning. You might be doing something completely unrelated, washing dishes, driving to work, standing in line at the grocery store, and suddenly you feel it. Not just thinking about being wealthy, feeling the freedom, feeling the abundance, feeling the millions as if they already exist in your account. For a moment, there is no doubt. For a moment, there is only certainty. These flashes are not imagination in the ordinary sense. They are breakthroughs, moments where your consciousness in the new state becomes so strong that it overrides the evidence of your physical senses. They are glimpses of the reality that already exists in the realm of mind, pressing through into your awareness. The key is recognizing these moments for what they are. They are not random good feelings. They are not wishful thinking that will lead to disappointment. They are your consciousness showing you what is already true at the level of cause. When these moments come, and they will, let them strengthen your faith. Let them remind you that the shift has occurred. Let them anchor you in the new state. A woman once described having these flashes repeatedly over a period of weeks. Each time she felt wealthy so strongly that it brought her to tears, not from sadness, but from the overwhelming reality of the feeling. "It's like I already have the money right now," she said, "even though my bank account says otherwise." The response? You can feel wealthy because you are wealthy. The shift has occurred. What you're feeling is not imagination. It's reality. The physical world just hasn't caught up yet. If your moments of feeling wealthy have shifted from fantasy to reality, from wanting to being, trust what those moments are telling you. The shift has occurred. You're not imagining wealth. You're experiencing it before the physical evidence arrives. Sign 5, the behavior of others changes the fifth. Sign is one that's particularly revealing. Before your millions fully manifest in the physical, other people in your life begin to treat you differently. They treat you as someone who is successful, abundant, prosperous, even though nothing has visibly changed in your financial situation. Here's the crucial point. Everyone in your reality is you pushed out. They are mirrors reflecting your state of consciousness back to you. When you shift into the state of being wealthy, everyone, not just your bank account, begins to reflect that state. Friends might suddenly comment on how successful you seem. Strangers might treat you with unusual respect. People might assume you have money, even when you haven't told them anything about your finances. The world begins to treat you as the wealthy person you have become in consciousness. Why does this happen before the money fully manifests? Because the people around you have less resistance to your new state. They have no old story to overcome. They have no defenses against the new you. They simply reflect what they encounter. So they shift first, previewing the treatment you'll soon receive from the physical world of money. I've seen countless cases of this phenomenon. People report that before their wealth manifested, their entire social world had shifted. Coworkers treated them with more respect. Family members suddenly asked them for advice on investments. Strangers assumed they were successful. It was as if the universe was rehearsing the new reality with everyone. And then, once the pattern was established, the money followed. If you've noticed that people in your life are suddenly treating you as someone who is wealthy and successful, even though your bank account hasn't visibly changed, trust it. This is not unrelated to your manifestation. This is your manifestation beginning to appear. The physical money is simply the last domino to fall, but the dominoes are already falling. Sign 6, the height, dreams that feel like memories. The 6th sign involves dreams, but not ordinary dreams. When a wealth shift has truly occurred in consciousness, you begin to have dreams about being wealthy that don't feel like dreams at all. They feel like memories. They feel like actual events that happened. They feel so real that when you wake up, you have to remind yourself that it hasn't happened in the 3D yet. These dreams are not just your subconscious processing your desires. They are actual experiences in the realm of imagination. And imagination is more real than the physical world. When your consciousness has fully accepted the state of wealth, it begins generating experiences that match that state. You live your wealthy reality in the dream state because at the level of consciousness, you already have the millions. The key detail that distinguishes these dreams from ordinary dreams about money, they don't have the quality of longing. You don't wake up sad that it isn't real. You wake up feeling like it is real, like you just came back from actually living as a millionaire. There's no sense of fantasy, no sense of wish fulfillment. There's just the quiet knowing that you experienced something true. Someone once described having dreams about being wealthy where they were doing ordinary things, paying bills without stress, making purchases without checking prices, having conversations about investments as if it were completely normal. They're not fantasies about mansions and yachts, they said. They're boring, everyday moments of having money, and they feel more real than my waking life. This is the surest sign that the shift has occurred. You are dreaming memories, I told them. Memories of a future that consciousness has already created. The physical world is simply the last to receive the news. If your dreams about being wealthy have shifted from longing to having, from wanting to being, from fantasy to reality, trust what your dreams are telling. The shift has occurred. You're not imagining a wealthy future. You're remembering one. Sucker sign 7, the ultimate sign. But the 7th and most powerful sign is also the most subtle. You catch yourself thinking about money differently in your thoughts, in your private inner conversations, in the way you hold your financial situation in your mind. The desperate longing for money has been replaced by quiet certainty. The anxiety about whether wealth will come has shifted to peace about the abundance you already have. The person who used to worry about bills has become the person who simply knows everything is handled. I call this the change in inner speech. Our inner conversations, the things we say to ourselves about money, about abundance, about our financial situation, are the true measure of our state. When your inner speech about money shifts from wanting to having, from hoping to knowing, from anxiety to peace, the shift in consciousness is complete. This isn't about forcing yourself to think positively. This isn't about affirmations you don't believe. This is your consciousness revealing where it actually lives. When you catch yourself thinking about money with the quiet confidence of someone who is already wealthy, you have moved states. The old you who was desperate for money is gone. The new you who has millions has taken their place. It might show up when you think about the future and automatically assume abundance. It might show up when someone mentions money problems and you feel like someone without those problems, not someone who shares them. It might show up when you catch yourself planning what you'll do with your wealth, as if you're remembering forward. When your inner speech has shifted, the manifestation is inevitable. You are no longer hoping for something external to change. You have become the person for whom this is already reality. Your financial world must now conform to who you have become, because everything in your reality is always reflecting your state back to you. The deeper truth. Now, here's what most people miss. These signs aren't just nice confirmations to help you feel better during the waiting period. They're evidence of a fundamental truth about how reality works. The inner world always shifts before the outer world. When you successfully assume the feeling of being wealthy, you don't start a process that might work. You complete a shift that must express. The shift in consciousness is the manifestation. The physical money is just the echo, the shadow, the inevitable result of what has already occurred in the realm of cause. The universe has not left your imagination unheard. It cannot. Reality is consciousness projected outward. When you shift, your world shifts. When you move to a new state, everything around you must rearrange to match that state. The poverty that held you back, the scarcity that seemed permanent, the financial ceiling that appeared. Unbreakable, these no longer exist in your consciousness. And since they are reflections of your consciousness, they can only show you who you have become. But here's the key: recognizing the signs strengthens the manifestation. When you acknowledge that the shift has occurred, when you trust the evidence of the inner world over the evidence of the outer world, you stabilize in the new state. You stop wavering. You stop going back to the old assumption. You give consciousness the consistent signal it needs to fully print the new reality into the 3D. Doubt is the only thing that can delay a manifestation. When you see the signs that your wealth has been created and you trust them, when you stop demanding physical proof and accept the inner evidence, you remove doubt from the equation. And without doubt, the manifestation must appear. This doesn't mean you ignore the 3D completely. It means you understand what you're looking at. The 3D is the past. The signs are the present. Your assumption is the future becoming now. When you can see all three levels clearly, you stop being confused by the delay. You understand that everything is exactly on schedule. Personal integration. I want you to think about this for a moment. What if your millions have already been created? What if the wealth shift you've been waiting to see has already happened in the realm where all shifts occur? What if the peace you've been feeling, the disinterest in the old story, the echoes from unexpected sources, what if all of these are not wishful thinking, but accurate perception? What if you've been receiving evidence of the wealth shift all along, but dismissing it because it didn't come in the form you expected? And what if by trusting these signs, by acknowledging the shift that has already occurred, you could collapse the time between the inner change and the outer manifestation? What if your faith in the unseen is the final ingredient that brings everything into physical form? This is what I'm offering you today. Not just a technique for creating wealth, but a revelation about the nature of reality itself. A roadmap for understanding that consciousness is cause and the physical world is effect. A way to recognize that your millions have been created before they fully appear. Because you understand that the inner world always leads the outer. If you've been experiencing any of these signs, if you've noticed the shifts I've described, I want you to do something. I want you to stop discounting them. Stop explaining them away. Stop waiting for the physical proof that will come after you've accepted the inner proof. Instead, let the signs anchor you in certainty. Let them be the evidence that your consciousness accepts. Let them be enough. Mantra. The transformative ending. Here's what I want you to take with you as we close. Your millions have already been created. Not will be created, or might be created, or could be created if you visualize you hard enough. Have been created. Already. The wealth you've been imagining, it now exists in consciousness. And consciousness is the only place where anything is ever created. The 3D hasn't caught up yet. That's all. The shadow hasn't moved to match the new position of the object. The old pages are still printing out, but the new story is already written. Every sign you've noticed, the peace, the release of the old story, the echoes, the knowing, the different treatment from others, the dreams that feel like memories, the shift in your inner speech. These are not previews of a shift that might happen. They are evidence of a shift that has happened. The question isn't whether your millions have been created. The question is, can you trust it before you see it? Can you let the inner evidence be enough? Can you live in the knowing that the wealth you desire is already yours, even while your physical eyes are still seeing the old bank balance? Because right now, as you read this, as your financial reality is different, the opportunities that will bring you wealth are already forming. The paths to your millions are already opening. The circumstances that will deliver your abundance are already arranging themselves. But it's happening. It's already happened. The shift is complete. now you're just waiting for it to appear. The broke person who struggled, the one who never seemed to catch a break, the person for whom money was always hard, they've all already shifted in consciousness. They're all already becoming the wealthy version, the one who has millions, who lives in abundance, who knows financial freedom. The consciousness shift has occurred. The physical shift is following. The only thing left is for you to trust it, to live as if it's already done, to stop looking for physical proof and start accepting inner knowing, to recognize the signs for what they are, not previews, but evidence, not hope, but confirmation. So tonight, when you visualize, don't imagine the wealth coming. Feel that it has already come. Feel your millions as they already exist in consciousness, in your account, funding your dreams, creating your freedom. Don't create the wealth. Recognize it. Don't hope for the money. Celebrate it. The shift is complete. Your millions are already created. The signs are everywhere. Now trust what you see in the unseen and watch the seen catch up. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If this has helped you recognize the wealth shift that's already occurred, share it with someone who needs to see their signs confirmed. Subscribe if you want to continue exploring the power of consciousness and manifestation. And remember, your millions have already manifested. You're not waiting for the creation, you're waiting for the reveal. Until next time, trust the inner evidence, honor the signs, and know that what has shifted in consciousness must shift in reality. It's law. It's done. It's only a matter of time. Your millions are already here. Now watch them show up.